friends. I finally, I can't say I. We finally did our like mega cage redo. Josh is just smiling so big behind the camera and it's really distracting. Is it because of how much you love me?
Yeah.
Okay, so we finally did our huge cage remodel, upgrade, makeover, whatever adjective you would like to use. I went from, I mean, you guys, most of you have probably seen what the room looks like before, where the whole room was kind of just a cage. It wasn't like a structured system. Things just unfolded really quickly with rescuing the guinea pigs. And yeah. So it took me a little while to like, one, figure out like who was going to be in what herd and then like what cage size. But long story short, we finally got there and I'm so excited to show you. And I hope I never have to do it again. But saying that, it was like so worth it. Like I walk in there now and I'm like, I can't believe I lived any other way like this with guinea pigs. Like this was the way, and it just like took me almost 2 years. 2 years? Yeah, 2 years to like be where I should be, where we're living blissfully together, and it's not me just letting them take over. I just let them kind of take over. At the end of this video, I will like go over with you guys like how much everything cost and like how much overall the whole project was. Going into this video, if anyone is considering doing like a cage makeover or cage renovation or big upgrade or anything of the sort, like just make sure you carve out more time to get the project done than you're gonna think it is. Like if you're going in and you're like, oh, it'll probably take me 5 hours, it might take you 8 or 9. So just like plan ahead, as in like make sure your pigs are in an area where they can stay for longer just in case, because it's a lot. So overall, this project took 3 full days. 14-hour days, 12 to 14-hour days for 3 full days. Now that's not gonna be how it is for everybody, but I wanted to repaint the entire room in addition to doing all of the cages. So, you know, I just like to like really torture myself. If I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna go hard, you know what I mean? So let's start with day 1. Actually, let me get my visual aid so we can go through this journey together and I can relive it. Day 1 was building a temporary cage. I say that because it was like kind of a Mission Impossible mission. Not really Mission Impossible, but sneaky impossible. We used our family member's rental across the street because it was empty. I moved out the dining room table and I built their temporary cages there. I just got really cheap shower liners from Walmart and I just first put those down on the floor just to like make sure the floors were really protected. I put down the U-Haul moving pads and then I just went down and put like fleece and liners and the Target mats, or I have some pig room mats. And then I built C&C cages. I did 4 rows. They were 2x7, and then the herd of 4 was 4x7. And honestly, I really liked the way it looked, even though this isn't like something you can pull off because there's no way to like contain, like you need coroplast, like you need the sides. Aesthetically to the eye, like seeing them like all in a row like that was just so nice. It was just cool because like I had all of the hay like racks all lined up on one side and the same little rainbow tunnels, and I don't know, it just was like cool having them in a row like that. It's not conducive for a long term. That part was really easy. I mean, the hardest part was just like moving everything from my house to across the street, but I mean, again, it's easy. It's just busy work, but it was easy. And then I moved the pigs over and they actually all adjusted really fast. Like they had no problems. I put the herd of 4, like David, Alexis, Bebe, and MJ over first, and they were like putzing around and just like burp, 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 like immediately. They were fine. I was a little like, you know, bummed thinking of them being in a new space, especially that like I'm not there and with them, and them being like, you know, not super stoked, but they were weeking at me and Josh coming in the house by like, I don't know, like 8 hours later.
They're so cute exploring.
Then the real fun began. And by real fun, I would say probably like my least favorite day of the 3 days. And that was taking the room apart because having to cut zip ties off of like tightly zip tied grids together over and over and over and over and over and over again is very tedious, very frustrating. Nonetheless, that is what had to happen. I just started with getting everything out of the room, all of like the extra stuff, like the shelves and everything, and just emptied it out, took all the grids down, pulled all their bedding up, and then, was blessed with all of the hay and pea stains that were in places that I didn't see while the cages were built, which is like another reason why this like cage remodel needed to happen. Like it just needed to happen. Once I got everything out of the room, I just really needed to like get all of like the excess hay and everything out that was like stuck behind the cages. And then after that is when I took all the stuff off the walls. And then I had to really like wipe and clean all the walls off, the windowsills, like above in the ceiling, because like hay dust just gets everywhere. And this was all because, I needed to prep for the next day, which was going to be painting, because day 2 was just all painting. Josh had to like break down that huge like 3-story shelf cage, and we like moved it out the window because it was just easier that way. But that was like the biggest thing to get out of the room. I feel like that made the biggest difference in like the feeling of having more space, because that thing just was like big and bulky. I loved that cage when we did it, but it had served its purpose, and it was really just time for that cage to go. That was probably the last thing we got out. And then really it just came down to, like I said, cleaning the whole room, vacuuming the floors, mopping the floors, the walls, everything. The second day, I just painted all day. And I painted everything. I painted the windowsills, like the trim, the baseboard, the closet, the door, everything the same color, which some people think is really weird. But for one, in a room, like a pet room, I don't really want white anywhere because it just shows more of the hay dust and everything more. So I just did 2 coats of Behr, retro pink. You can get it from Home Depot. I actually go to Sherwin-Williams and get it from them because they like work together or whatever with their paint colors. If you like the color by chance, it is called Retro Pink by Behr. So once I was done painting, I put a dehumidifier in the room to really help dry the paint out fast because the fumes are what's like the most important thing to like make sure you eliminate before you move the pigs in. Josh has like a really big dehumidifier for his workshop. So we put that in there to really dry the paint as fast as we could. I put 2 air purifiers in there and then an oscillating fan. And then at night, I opened the windows so like fresh air could come in and like the air that was in the room could kind of cycle out. So by the time like we finished building the cage on the 3rd day and I actually moved the pigs into the room, it was like over 24 hours from the time that I had like finished painting. Just depending on your situation, if you are painting a pet room, especially like a rodent and like small exotic animal pet room who have like really sensitive respiratory systems, just take into consideration getting the fumes out of the room first. So day 3 was a doozy, but it just didn't feel like it because it was like the room was like empty. So there was like, I don't know, I'm in a clean empty space. So it was just like, it was like ready to be built in. So we started with the bottom. We started left and just went right for no reason except for that's just what we did. On the bottom left was storage. So that wasn't like super extensive for any, you know, and Josh didn't have to measure anything on that side either. And then before we started the top, I hung all of the string lights around the top because it was just easier to still get the ladder in and be able to do that. Because I would have gone ahead and like put the 2nd level on, but my brain clicked and was like, oh, you should get the ladder in here before you build the 2nd level and like hang all the lights while it's easy. I hung all my string lights. Josh hung the guinea pig jungle sign back up. That's when we also put the TV back on the wall. That's when we started top left side of the cage. We just worked our way around, and by the time we got to the middle, that's when Josh realized, oh crap, I should install the blinds before we build the rest of the room around, because I need to get on a ladder. Josh put the blinds in. The guinea pigs have nicer blinds in their room than we have in the rest of the house. So that's cool. I couldn't really build while he was doing that. I went ahead and built Moira and Johnny's like cage up. Like I, put down the liners and put everything in their cage and got ready for them because we were going to eventually need the grids that I built their temporary cage from. Because again, like I said, when I said plan ahead, like you need more time, I hadn't really planned ahead for getting even more grids than I needed for a temporary cage. Like I couldn't use the grids that they were currently using because they were in them. That's where I kind of fumbled a little bit. And then after I brought them over, I went ahead and started dressing the bottom cage and setting it up because at that point there wasn't a full top on and there was a lot of light in there, and it was going to be the only time that there was going to be a lot of light in the lower level. So I went ahead and just like made it easier for myself and got all of the like base liners down. After I finished doing that with the bottom cage, that's when Josh had finished cutting the coroplast for the like 2nd level center cage. That's where Gigi and Frenchie live. I went ahead and just put them directly in. Moira and Johnny were already there, and I was just, at that point, I was like, once the cage was done, I was like trying to just like get everyone over there and moved in. And then from there, it was kind of just like, you know, the ball was rolling. It was like smooth sailing. Finished that far right cage, which is where Olive and Figgy live. And as soon as I was done doing everything for them, I put them in. I put David, Alexis, Bebe, and MJ in the bottom, and it was like, oh my God, we're done. However, it took all day, but it was like, oh my God, the hard part is over. I told you guys at the beginning that we would break down the costs of everything. I can put everything that we used to build our cage in the description. I did get the grids off of Amazon, and I got extra connectors off of Amazon as well. I got 5 packs of grids. So the grids, when I bought them, they were like $35, $36 a pack. So that totaled out for me to be like $188 is how much I spent on grids for 5 packs. And then I got 2 packs of extra connectors, and that was $32. And Josh, when he went to Home Depot, he spent $280 on the coroplast that we needed, the zip ties, the support beams, and the duct tape. So with the grid cost at $188, the extra connectors for $32, that left my total on Amazon for $220. Josh's total at Home Depot was $280. So that was a $500 project, y'all. So for as much work as that was, it was 100% worth it. I am so happy in the room, and I do really look forward to like finally being able to like take more footage in there and show you guys now that we've seen it. It's like really hard like hiding the things you do on your Instagram when you're like waiting for YouTube videos to come out. Next week's video, I wanted to get your guys' weigh in. Would you guys rather see a cage clean in the new room, or would you want to have like a full tour of the new room? Like, I mean, either way, I'm gonna do both, but like, which one do you want to see first? Let me know. Love you guys. See you next time.